Hi everyone, I'm Dina with Mills Family Gardening. Welcome back to our channel. We live in North Texas, Zone 8A. Today is February 21st. It's a very beautiful day, and in this video I'm going to move our Sedum, Autumn Joy, and also Echinacea to different spots. First of all, I'm going to remove these dry branches from last year, and you can see that it's already growing some new plants. There are little green babies on the very bottom. A couple of years ago, it was growing in a different spot and I didn't want it in that spot, so I moved it here. But now I want to use this raised bed to grow some peppers and eggplants. They're growing inside right now under a grow light. So I'm going to transplant them here at the end of March or beginning of April. And sedum is a very resilient plant and can be moved, it can be divided, and it's going to be growing just fine. It grows in any kind of soil. Of course, sandy and well-drained soil is the best, but it's been growing in our clay soil just fine. So now I'm going to dig it up. I'm going to try to put the shovel in the ground deeper to get as many roots as I can, but it's not crucial. Sedum grows its roots pretty fast. It's a type of a succulent plant, and it's okay if most of the roots stay in the ground. It has a pretty large root system, so it's kind of hard to pull it up from the ground, so I have to work with the shovel more here. And of course, sedum is a perennial plant. It comes back year after year. It's very low maintenance. It's drought tolerant. And here it is. And to divide it, I'm simply going to cut through the root and through the plants with the shovel and divide it into as many parts as I'd like to. I think I'll just split it in half. And I'm just going to use the shovel as if I would be digging in the dirt and simply cut through it. So now I have 2 root balls of the sedum, and let's go ahead and plant it. But before I plant sedum, I'm going to dig up echinacea also. It's growing right here by the fence. This is the north side of our backyard. This is the spot where it grew last year. You can still see some old branches coming out of the ground. And this spot gets too hot in the summer because the fence reflects the sun, and so the leaves and flowers burn. So I'm going to dig it up just like I dug up sedum, and I'm going to try to get as much root system as I can. And right now we're at the end of February, and for us in North Texas Zone 8, this is a perfect time to transplant and move the seedlings and plants around. So this is our root system, and I can see that it's already starting to grow new plants. There's a purple little seedling there, and there's another one, and there's another one. So right here we have our in-ground bed. On the other side of it, I planted some onions. They're growing nicely, and I think on this end of this row, that's where I'm going to plant echinacea and sedum roots. And since sedum is lower than echinacea, I'm going to plant sedum in the front, and then echinacea will go behind it. Our soil is mostly clay here. I did add some mushroom compost and llama manure, but it's still pretty bad clay, and we have some grub worms. Sedum is a very low maintenance plant. It doesn't require too fertile soil, so all I'm gonna do is just dig a hole like that, and I see a lot of earthworms in there. And of course, I see our lovely clay soil. And since we have our homemade compost that we make in flower pots, I'm going to use that and put some of it on the bottom of the hole. And then I'm simply just gonna put the whole root ball in the hole like that, not very deep. So I'm gonna add some of the native soil like that. And then simply put this root ball on top, not very deep, at the level that it was growing previously. And I'm simply going to put all the dirt around to make sure to remove all the air pockets. We're done with planting our Sedum Autumn Joy. And now I'm going to plant our Echinacea, so I'm going to do the same thing. And Echinacea is similar to Sedum in that it does not require any special soil. It grows in clay soil just fine. It grew well in our soil all these years, so I'm just going to add some of our homemade compost, and I'll just put this root on top Again, not very deep, so I'm going to add some of the native soil, put it on top, and then simply put the native soil all around it. So after I water both plants, I'm just gonna let them grow, and we'll come back when they start growing a little bit more. In May, I noticed that Echinacea leaves started turning yellow, and I figured that was because it was getting too much water in that spot. So on May 22nd, I dug it up and moved it to a new location where I did not amend the soil. I planted it into our heavy clay soil, and I think that was a mistake on my part. I should have added some compost or aged manure to amend our heavy clay soil. Today is September 16th, and our Sedum Joy is looking really good. It started blooming and the blossoms are opening up, and now they're pink in color, and of course pollinators and bees love this plant. You can notice that the leaves are slightly yellowish or light green, and I think that might have happened because our drip irrigation right in the spot provides too much water for the plants, and I think the sedum didn't like it that much because it's supposed to be a heat and drought tolerant plant. So after I stopped watering and we also got some rain and cooler weather, now the leaves are looking much better. They're darker green, and the plant looks very healthy. And also I put some supports, these short bamboo sticks, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then I put a jute around the plant just to support the limbs so that the branches would be growing up. The second part of this plant, if you remember, I divided in 2 parts. The second part of it I planted back here in this part of our garden, and if you come closer you can see that this plant, the limbs of it are a little crooked, and that happened because I did not provide the support in time, and the branches were lying on the ground, they were growing sideways, and then the top parts of branches started growing up. That's why they look kind of crooked. That is why it's very important to provide support for a flowering, blooming, tall plant earlier so that the branches would be growing up instead of sideways. Today is October 21st, and our Echinacea is doing okay. It's not doing as well as the ones that we had blooming in the spring in our backyard, but considering that I transplanted it twice, it's actually doing well. Its blooms aren't as big as they should be, and I think there are 3 factors that are contributing to it. The first one is that it was transplanted twice. The second factor is that I did not amend the soil. We have heavy clay soil in our backyard. And the third factor is that it lived through an extremely hot summer. But its roots will keep growing, they will get stronger, and then next spring and early summer, Echinacea will be much taller and the blooms will be larger. So if you don't like the location of your plants, it's very simple to move them from one place to another. In fact, I might move this Echinacea one more time because I think it might be getting too much shade from this lemon balm and then okra in the back. But I'll see how it does next spring and summer, and I'll determine what I'll do with it then. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.